Hey, I'm E. You got I am Neens. This is Anything Goes
podcast. And like we normally say, this podcast can be very controversial. It is our own life experiences, our own opinions. It is what it is. If you don't like this podcast, you know what you can do. And if you haven't watched it by now, you need to get caught up because we are what it is when you're here in Baltimore. So, E, what's up?
We got a very special guest. This nigga famous now. I done seen this nigga for years. This nigga, yo, you famous. You realize you famous, my nigga? Like, that's crazy, yo. Go introduce yourself, yo.
I'm Devin Allen, Baltimore-based artist, most known for my documentation after the death of Freddie Gray. And I'm becoming the third amateur photographer ever with the Cover Time magazine. And 5 years later, getting my second Time magazine cover.
Damn.
I'm sorry. You gotta give him his flowers right now. I don't care what nobody say.
Like seeing a nigga, especially from like being outside, like this nigga's really outside. Like I know for a fact. You feel me? I don't know if you want to speak on that.
No, we can speak on it.
Yeah, like I know for a fact. You feel me? I was in and out them parts. You feel me? Yeah. So like to see where you at now, bro. This shit a blessing. Like, cause niggas don't make it from that to like where you are, you know, you could have been dead in jail. As cliche as it sounds, that's a fact though, you know. So like how you even feel like this shit crazy, bro? Like
first, when he answered that question, let me say thank you for taking the chance to come on our podcast and share.
You know, this is my guy right here.
That's what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, you gotta say thank you. Sometimes he can be your guy when you're young, but when you get older, you know, you get famous.
My nigga said he was gonna come. You know, word.
They say whatever. I was like, this nigga lying. He ain't lying. That's it, you know.
I made sure I didn't get too lit, so I be.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. But go ahead.
But nah, you know, like it's kind of like a gift and a curse, you know, because at the end of the day, it's like I've done like some cruddy stuff growing up. I think a lot of dudes, like a lot of my peers, we all got like things that we regret, things that we have done. But like to stand here, like after losing so many homeboys, and you know, if it's to gun violence or a lot of my dudes, locked up. Some I got people that's just coming home, some that's never coming home. But they my inspiration. So like for me, it's just like now, to stand here and done defeated the odds. Like now I'm just like blessed to be here. So my whole focus is just like how can I help the next generation, not take some of the turns that I did, because a lot of things that I did was by choice. I didn't actually have to do them. Like a lot of the people that was around me, their lifestyle was way worse than mine. Like, I could have had it easy, because my mother offered that to me, but because of, just my lineage and my blood, how my uncle and my cousins was, I wanted that. So I just, seen certain things and felt a certain type of way that I went and got it myself,
So when did you know that you had an eye? Like can snap pictures and see something other people can't see, because that's a gift. A lot of people don't know that. So when did you know you had that?
Yo, like the crazy part, when I go talk to kids, it was like as a kid growing up, like I was spoiled, like straight up. Like I never, that's something that I never try to hide from that I'm home. I'm talking like my homeboys would get jammed up in the hood, you feel me? At the end of the day, my mother was a grinder. So like my mother, went and was like, all right, we need to buy, generational wealth. So she went and bought a house in Catonsville. So my homeboys would get jammed up in the city, come stay with us, like, like even down to this day, I talk to my mother, my homeboys used to hard work out there, like everything, they get jammed up. I was always spoiled.
Cool mother.
Yeah. The crazy thing, my mother, she allowed me to go but so far, and I had to make the mistakes that I had, but she never, I'm talking about like, Mom, I'm calling, I'm locked up. Like, I ain't coming to get you, find your own way home. Like, like that type of stuff. But, when I was young, she exposed me so much. My mother was so intelligent. I didn't realize how dope my mother was till I got older. Because my mom, she tough on me. Someday I'm like, fuck, I hate her. When she fuss at me. But like, my mother was like, went to Poly, straight A student, graduated early, transferred herself to Forest Park. You feel me? And then, went to Towson, and then my mother worked for forensics at the FBI. And then when she had me, she went into, like a career where she ain't had to travel or do anything. She still traveled, whatever, but she always opened me up to a lot of things. So like growing up, I used to hoop, like I was able to play sports, all this other stuff, like I grew up like playing like, drawing Dragon Ball Z characters and all that. But what I found is like I was picked on for real, because I found out like us being from the city, my mother mentality was different from being in the county. You feel me? So like, my thing was, oh, I'm gonna start plucking everything. I'm gonna start smacking everybody. So like a lot of things that I love, you know, because of peer pressure, I put to the side. So I felt like I've always been an artist. But those are things I put to the side because, you know, because of my surroundings. Because I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be posted up. I seen all the dudes getting money. I seen what it was. So it was just like, all right, I want to fit in with everybody else. So growing up, I keep it 100. I was a follower. So I always had an eye, but it didn't really start growing until I had my daughter at 19, and I wanted more. But when I really found that I was nice, it's like literally like when I had no support from my community, but like my mother and them was pushing me. My grandmother was pushing, because my grandmother bought my first camera. You know, a lot of people be like, oh, yo, when they find out how I started photography at 24, 25, had a time cover by 26. You know, so it happened real fast, but it was just like a lot of my peers, like Da Vinci Tattoos, people like Rags, Joshua Austin, you know, G Songs, City of Gods, all those guys down there. When I decided to do those stuff, they was like, oh, you really got something here, you know, keep pushing. But the crazy part about it, a lot of my peers that I used to hustle with was making fun of me, you know, and then I switched my surroundings, and then when I got into the right, you know, ecosystem, and that's when I really found I had an eye that I had something.
Well, sometimes niggas be hating anyway.
That's true.
So them making fun of you is really them hating because they see something and they want you to still be where they at, and they want you to grow and leave where the fuck they at and feel as though you're above them. Because niggas always cool when y'all on the same level, you below them, but if they can see that you can grow and do some different shit, they don't want that, yo. It's sad to say, but that shit is a fact. It's true.
I never understood that, because I always look at it, if I'm rising up, I'm one of those, like,
that's that crab in the barrel mentality that we're having this time.
Right, but you ever played, what was that game? It was like a game we played with kids. We used to have to hook the monkeys, and they be in like the little box, and then the more monkeys would hook with the joints. It was like a crazy game. I can't remember, but it's like, I look at it like, yo, if I'm rising up, I'm gonna grab my man, and then I'm gonna throw you up on top of me.
Right, and
then you grab me up, and then we just throwing each other up, you know? Like, that's how you build.
It's called the open hand.
Yeah.
Like reach back, open hand.
It's called we don't know that in
So
Baltimore.
No,
we will say some people. I'll also say I feel like us as Baltimore, have you experienced this? It's more of a clicky situation. So if you're not in that click of a niche, then you're considered, hey, we're not going to really give you your flowers. So did you go through that, or was it more like, hey, we like you anyway?
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is I'm one of the lucky ones. You know, I really have been able to experience what Baltimore has to offer at every level, from the streets to the academic world to the museums to, you know, people like, you know, being at Under Armour, you know. So I'm a lucky one. I think a lot of support that I get because I've always been a real one. You know, like if I ain't have nothing, and if I had something, you know, like I've always been solid with my crew, my friends. I've always been authentic in who I am. I've always been a little different. You know, like he'll tell you, I always dress a little different. You know, like I always had my own style and things like that. Even if I wasn't, you know, comfortable in it, I've always just been a little different. So like now that I'm here, the support has been overwhelming. I just feel like, because the fact that I grew up with so many people, they're like, yo, I really remember Shorty, like, on the block, chilling up the village. I remember Shorty chilling up Garrison and Bell with Busy in them. I really, you know, people really got genuine love for me. You know, so like when I come through the club or anything, which is rare, you know, I get a lot of love. You know, even, you know, and I think from that, the academic world respect that even more, because I have a certain notoriety in my community, and I understand my community on so many different levels. So like I'm one of the lucky few that really get to experience Baltimore, you know, to the fullest, and really get to use the resources that we have. Because Baltimore has a lot of resources, but the hood and black people really don't get them, you know, because of redlining and everything else.
That's a real thing. The Lines Between Us, which is a really good book. Y'all should read that. It's based on Baltimore, and it's also based on redlining. But sorry, that's one of my favorite books.
So let me ask you. I heard you just speak on Under Armour. You want to speak on what ventures you got with them, and then also how did they come about?
Yeah, like mind you, I'm learning everything verbatim. Like I didn't like most photographers that I knew like, you know, like my grandmother shooting family cookouts, or like the photographer shooting down a Paradox on the backdrop. You know, so I was learning everything on my own, from watching YouTube, like, you know, like reading books. and stuff like that, you know, and a lot, like, I didn't know what I was doing, because I didn't know any photographers, you feel me? And then, like, some of the older guys wasn't really showing no love. They wasn't trying to, like, mentor me or anything. Like, one of the few local photographers that really showed love was, like, Chris Cam, you know, like, OG was shooting Dubai, all that back in the day. You know, he do, like, the photo booths now, do the 360 cameras. You know, he would let me use the studio, give me jams, you know. But for the most part, if people like, oh, yo, my little man be taking pictures, oh, wow. But I think that when they saw how good the work was, I think I scared them a little bit. You know, damn, shorty that good? And I think it was, and I think people felt some type of way. So when Freddie Gray, when I started doing was, I was like, all right, bet. I started studying people like Basquiat. I started studying art because, like, all like Da Vinci tattoos and rags, and my man Pooty to do the raison d'etre and all that. They start giving me books. Yo, read this. Read Behold the Pale Horse. You know, read this Andy Warhol book. You know, read this and read that. And I'm just like, yo, they giving me all these gems. These older dudes. So I would just sit with them all day in the studio, smoking hookah, smoking weed, chilling, drinking, and I just was learning so much. You know, like, and from that, I just was like, all right, let me maneuver, let me really be an artist. So I literally changed how I move and everything. And then, so, with my mom was always having, put me on with Nina Simone. You know, she put me on with, like, Gil Scott Heron. You know, she was putting me on with, like,
shout out to his mom. I'm sorry. This is just making me so excited. Like, thanks, Mom.
She was giving me gems and things I learned in school, how powerful black people was. So I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna maneuver my career. And then going parts is the reason why I started photography. You know, and it was just like, all right, so now I understand how powerful an image is. So at that point, you know, I remember Sean Gamble that went to school with us. You feel me? The police killed him at Select Nightclub. You know, like, they beat the off-duty police officer up. He pulled out the gun. On-duty police officer started shooting. Yo, one of the most coolest dudes, like, I ever met. Pure heart. Him and his brother. James, yeah. He worked at my daughter summer school, all that. Yeah. So, you know, and back then I just was like, yo, that's just life. It is what it is. I can't do nothing. It just is what it is. But when I got that camera in my hand, I was like, it ain't just is what it is. I can expose things, you know, like Golden Pulse always said, a camera is a weapon. So when Mike Brown died, I went out and shot the protest because Baltimore showed solidarity. So when Freddie Gray died, me and him got mutual friends. So I know a couple dudes, like, you know, that knew him, you know, like, and so I knew where all the protests was at. Me and G-Song would go to the protest together, you know, and I just shot everything. So when the time cover and all that, it happened so fast. And I remember Armour tweeted me. Somebody working at Armour like, we're going to bring you down to campus. And I was like, I didn't know Armour campus was actually in Baltimore at that time. You know, because I didn't know nothing about past Federal Hill. I didn't know anything over there. You know, and I used to go down there and just chill. You know, met with a couple of Zachs, SVPs, Brian Bourne, Steve Batista. You know, and my uncle would go with me. You know, rest in peace. Like, we would just go chill. They start off with them giving me clothes, and they was like, yo, you ever been out the country? And I'm like, no. Like, the furthest I went was North Carolina for a family reunion, Zoe weekend, Miami, and New York. I ain't never really traveled. I was always one of those dudes where, like, I was very content at one point in time, was getting a bottle, sitting on Saratoga Folk, or sitting up the village with my homies. You know, I was very content. They bought my passport, was like, all right, well, you going to Asia with Steph Curry. And after that, you know, that was 2015, and that's when we kind of built, that's when that relationship started growing.
So I have a question. When you first saw that post, that picture, which is all around the world, it's been used on so many news outlets and things like that when they talk about things that happen to black men, and then they say Freddie Gray. Your picture is mostly number one that is shown, that I see everywhere. When you first saw it, what did you think? Like, was it like, oh shit, like, my gift is here. People are really paying attention. Not only that they see Baltimore, but it was you who took that picture.
The crazy part about it, I ain't think nothing of it. It's not even my favorite picture. That's the crazy part. So what I was doing the whole time, a lot of people don't know, I was shooting in Wi-Fi. So when I was posting pictures, I was actually still on the ground. So, like, right after the police ran past me and all that, we destroying the police cars, I uploaded it to Twitter. Straight to Twitter, straight to Instagram, because I understood I needed to move faster than media so I could control the narrative. Mm-hmm. And the person who actually broke the picture was DJ Drama. DJ Drama DM'd me. He was like, yo, what's going on in Baltimore? And I told him the whole spill. He was like, yo, you cool if I post this? Then I'm like, yeah, he's like, yo, I give you credit and all that. I said, it's not about the credit. Just make sure that when you post it,
Tell the right
show
story.
solidarity, tell the story. He's like, no, I got you, champ. And then like he posted it, and after that, that's
Right,
when,
DJ Drama, thank
Hey,
you. Thank
that's
you.
love,
and then
yo.
that's when it went viral, and then that's when everybody started following me. I went to sleep with 10,000 followers, woke up with 20, and then
Amazing.
it just happened so fast.
That's so freaking amazing.
Shit.
Oh my gosh. How stuff can happen overnight and then you never know what your story
Yeah, what's
really
the
is gonna
saying?
be.
Like I tell people all the time, when preparation meets timing. Like I was prepared. I was put in that moment for a reason. Feel me? God, the powers that be, knew that I was going to do right in my community, and that's why I'm in the situation I'm in now. That's why I'm still here in Baltimore.
So you don't feel that I'm sorry. I just want to ask another question. So you don't feel that pressure of leaving. Most people who get a little niche, get a little name, and they be like, yeah, I got to get up out of here.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you stay here? Because everybody else leaves.
Yeah, of course. Like, I don't knock nobody for leaving. One day I am going to leave. One day I'm going, I've been able to travel the world too. That's what allows, one, it's cheap as hell to live in Baltimore compared to living in LA, New York,
yeah.
And then plus, I got a daughter, so I don't never want to be too far. I always want to be accessible. What I realize, is that the fact that a lot of people leave, so a lot of these people become so iconic, they're not as accessible to the community. So my thing is I have a chip on my shoulder because, similar, they call us crabs in the barrel. At one point we was the heroin capital of America, murder capital, all these other things, and they say all these negative things about my community, but I know the intimate moments, chilling on the stoop, drinking, chilling, eating crabs with my fam, I know those intimate moments that I cherish. So like my thing is, I got a chip on my shoulder, I have something to prove, it's like I'm gonna live here. And I'm still gonna be goated. I'm still gonna grind. I'm still gonna get these jobs. I'm still gonna get flued out. I'm still gonna grind, do everything. I want to prove, because if I can prove that I can be successful in my community, what that does is it opens up a network. So my thing is, when a lot of people leave, a lot of people don't realize when they leave, you leave and then a lot of times you can come back, but it's not gonna hit the same. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if I can stay here and be a conduit, and then I can do this. So if I gotta move, I can pass it to my man. Like me and my man D. Watkins, my boy Condoni Fidel, we run a triangle offense. Like my boy is the youngest, professor at Coppin right now. He just signed with youngest
Shout
professor.
Out.
Like he not even 30 yet.
No, fuck that.
That boy from down the hill.
Y'all make me want to
Louisiana
cry.
Jefferson.
Y'all understand?
Yo, D. Watkins just wrote Carmelo Anthony book.
I love my people.
He threw me the oop. I shot the cover. Connie, throw him a oop. He writes something for Under Armour. And we just throw oops. We lie on each other. We run a triangle offense. Like D. Watkins' wife is now my manager. So it's like we moving, we getting money together. So we build that, that triangle offense like the Lakers. And then what we do is we reach out. And we find our real ones that we feel like, oh, they solid, they do good work. We want to throw them this. And that's how you do it. But when you gone for like 5 years and then you come back, 5 years is a long time. 1 year is a long time in Baltimore time.
Yeah.
1
30
year,
days, we moving quick.
Look, net pay.
Exactly. I'm not with none of that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I say that all the time about our people, because I think it's very important that we bring each other up, because I feel like Baltimore is so talented. I say this all the time. I don't care where I go, who I talk to. We have so many people, but we just don't have the resources, and once we get to a certain level, we never reach back. And I just want to also just say I appreciate you for that, because you don't meet too many people that think that same way, which is crazy. So I just want to say thank you, and I just want to put that out there.
All right, I want to get into his new bestie.
What?
His new bestie, yo.
Oh,
this
shit.
nigga Steph Curry, man. Is
Look, you jealous?
Is he cool in real life,
He's
though, yo?
jealous.
This anything goes.
I know,
And
but you jealous.
you probably ain't gonna watch it, so you can keep it on.
No, he might click on it. He a real one, yo.
Really?
No. When I mean stuff a real one, yo, like when I first met him, like, mind you, he's like one of those dudes, he's real laid back. So like the first time I met him was in 2015, and they told him like, yo, we gonna fly this kid out from West Baltimore. He gonna meet you in Tokyo.
I don't know where the fuck that was.
I'm gonna meet you in Tokyo, and then I'm going to, we're going to the Philippines, Beijing, Chongqing, Shanghai, all this, and then he gonna be shooting you. You know,
Awesome.
so when I met him, he never take a portrait out and posted him. He reposted a picture, tagged me. You know, he was very like, you know, really laid back. But over time, you know, he always say like, you know, like I've been around a lot of famous people, but like he always remember me. He said little stuff like, you know, he meet people all the time like, oh, what's up, D? What's up, Dad? What's up? Blah, blah. But you know, as we built like a repertoire, it'd be like little stuff. You know, we went out to Oakland. He said, all right, I'm gonna fix up this basketball court in Oakland. So they brought me in, and I just was like, well, I'm a photographer. Let's go out there and teach photography. And he was like, oh yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
You know, so his team, you know, at Under Armour, because he has a team at Under Armour. We went out there, we taught kids photography. It took me up and down Telegraph Ave, you know, and then I was telling the kids like, Steph coming. They're like, man, he ain't coming. Look, I was like, all right, you gotta explain the pictures you took to Steph when he get here. And they thought he was lying. Like, hold you not. Everybody like, Steph ain't coming. The whole community out in Oakland. And that boy pull up with the whole family. So the kids sitting there like, I'm like, he was explaining him, so I had to explain to kids. You know, we've done that 2 times. You know, like he had
That's amazing.
another pop up. He couldn't be there, but he FaceTime in. You know, when he come to Baltimore, you know, pull up. I was able to give my homeboy books. Like what I mean, like that's my guy. I'm talking about from drunk, you know, us drunk singing karaoke in Tokyo, having a good time to, you know, I just was in Oakland with him a couple weeks ago. You know, we even, you know, building a basketball court in Baltimore.
That's what's up.
With Troy Smith.
About time.
You know, that was part of the Under Armour collaboration with, you know, with me building the shoes. One of our shoes, me and him have a shoe together. You know, he wore them in the game multiple times. Andre Iguodala wore them. Kent Bazemore wore the shoe. You know.
So that's the same, the Baltimore shoe? That's the same
Baltimore
one?
shoe, yep. We got a Baltimore Maryland flag on the tongs.
I know the shoe, my nigga.
Yeah, he wore them in game. Yo, the joint's gone. It was
sold out.
They sold out. But the one thing I want to say, shout out to Baltimore and just the community, because I lowball myself. I didn't understand how impactful I was. But I mean, when that shoe dropped, the first day, the store ran out of shoes. We had to pull stuff off online sales to, you know, you talking about the Baltimore Mayor came, you talking about like Kevin Plank pulled up.
That's love.
You know, so it was just like, and you know, and then the funds, you know, a lot of people, you know, I didn't want any money from the collab. Like I did not. I didn't even get that far. I said we're gonna give it back to the community. We even had that conversation.
And that's why you blessed. And that's
you know,
why
and
you
then,
blessed.
Did you cry?
I ain't gonna hold you. I cried the most when.
Look, we knew you cried.
No, because you gotta think about this monumental. It's different.
Yeah.
How many photographers really get to like, you know, you think about
From
basketball players
Baltimore too.
to get a shoe, a pop. I'm talking my stuff was so globally.
Keep
you know,
telling
so,
y'all Baltimore is amazing.
you know, globally, you know, so people were sending me pictures. Like I think I started crying when I started looking at all the posts and the tags. But people were like Quebec. I'm like, what the hell is Quebec? Like, you know, I just started traveling, so it's like
when you feel that
you
love,
know, dudes in Asia wearing them. It's like, you know, and then seeing Steph in the game with him,
Touching my heart by the crowd.
seeing Steph in the game with him, and then the fact that just seeing black mothers, you know, with kids taking their kids to go down there to like buy the joints. It's just like in my mind, I'm like you know, like my mama's like my hero, my mother. So it's just like damn, like I remember my mama taking me to buy Jordans, you know, or buy my Penny Hardaway phone posits. Like I remember that moment, like, oh my God, man, I love you so much. But the fact that these kids, I want them Devin Allen Under Armours, and a black mother taking them down there to go get them, I'm just like, and they pump, they rocking them. I'm just like, yo, the kids tripping. I'm just like, so it was just like, yo, it was like a Jordan, you know, like a Kobe, or like I had that moment where I was just saying like, you know, mothers saying this is a guy you should look up to. That's what made me cry for real.
That's amazing.
With like you traveling the world, being around all these famous people, do you feel like you gotta be more like responsible with the shit you say and things you do? Do you feel like there's a bigger aisle spotlight on you?
Yeah, definitely.
So I can't ask you about these overseas bitches.
I knew where this was going. I was like, you didn't hear me. I said,
Yo, look.
As soon as he started saying you travel the world, I was like, no, Lee. I was like, no, Lee.
No, for the crazy part about it is the one thing that I always said I was going to do, I was going to be very transparent. One, I'm from Baltimore. I'm never going to hide my past. So, like, my thing is, like, so, as soon as people, like, I knew I was on, like, interviews, all that, like, the work that I create, I'm not about to sit here and be fake when I'm shooting my homeboys that's still in the trenches.
Right.
You know, I'm shooting my homeboys shooting on the dice. Like I got homeboys, they hit me like, yo, I'm outside today. Like, come take pictures of me. Yo, like, cause people don't have pictures of them. So like I be telling my homeboys all the time, like, yo, I want to do a shoot. I'm like, we gotta do a shoot. You on the block and you want some pictures, cause with social media and everything, like, yo, I don't want no bread, nothing, come and pull up. All I ask is like, yo, I can post it, put it in a book, solidify it, make it history. So I be telling all my homies, like, yo, you want me kind of in your hood? I got you. I'll pull out, I'll take pictures of the block all day. So like at the end of the day, it's like, but I've been transparent. Like my managers took over, they said, you got some wild tweets back in the day. Like people like get outed about Twitter and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, look, I be in interviews like, yo, look, I was all those things, hyper-masculine, homophobic, all that growing up, because of the community that I grew up in when I was around.
Exactly.
So I got a mind of my own now. So if you want to judge me from things that I did in the past,
fuck you.
It's not.
That's my words, ain't his words.
But it's just like, yo, this is what I put all my cards on the table.
Right, like
I put them on the deck.
Grow though, bro. You can't judge me from
I think so much. The issue is people act so high, sedity, or enlightened, but they're not transparent about who they was or where they come from. So my biggest thing is like, yo, I'm gonna be you. Look, I'm Devin. I'm a little moody. Like this is what it is. Like if you even going like the word, respect it. I do a lot for the community. So it's just like I don't. This is what it is.
I feel you.
I've made mistakes. I've hustled. I've been in the streets. I've been through a lot. And I put all that, I tweet about it, Instagram about it, I've done shows around it. So at the end of the day, I'm not really worried about, what I say. I try to be respectful, but at the same time, it's like, I understand that I am a brand. There's certain things that I can't say, certain ways that I can't move no more that I used to could do when I was 21. I can't do those things. It's like little stuff today. Like my mom was like, you going out too much. I ain't like that post you had. And it was my homeboy was cracking on me because I drive an electric car. So he like, and I had a cup in my hand, but it's like, I'm walking home though. So it's like, she's like, all right. I'm just making sure, like, Ma, I get you, I understand what you're saying, and then, right, so if I do make a mistake, I just recalibrate and then keep it moving.
So we can't ask you about these overseas bitches that basically,
when I do,
see what you all that ain't
no,
He learning.
He know me, he know I'm gonna come back.
I know, and I already know. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Yo, when I got overseas, even just in art in general, you get opened up to just a new space. At the end of the day, when people meet me, they expect me to be like this super artsy, always right, like this,
hood.
And it's like, I go to our show and I be like, yo, this shit fire. They expect for me to be like, the way the brush is slightly, it just swoops in and it just, no, like I'm not like, yo, this joint is fire. It's crazy, fam. Like, and people be looking like.
Let me give you a more political correct question.
All right, go ahead.
You been fucking these white bitches.
No, dude.
That ain't
We're
it.
not doing that.
That ain't it.
We're not doing that.
Look, so look.
Oh, okay.
So look, no. As I was saying before,
that eat back. You
Yeah,
in the corner, bro.
it ain't no corner. I told him I had
But
media. No, the good thing I had media training.
Okay.
So I know how to divert. And then what I will say is, is a person that has always been,
Hit the power button.
Around my community. So like end of the day, all I knew was West Baltimore. I didn't start venturing out, and then, moving to the Woodlawn. But other than that, I didn't venture to East Baltimore until me and my dad started building a relationship because he's from Greenmount. So I've always been in a small pocket. So I've always been an adventurous person and always wanted to expand my surroundings because I got a real imagination. I'm one of the people that's like, I reach for the sky. They be like, oh, the sky? I'm like, all right, wait. I'm trying to get to the stars.
All that.
No,
So let me finish.
So
what I'm saying is, just in general, when I became an artist and I decided I want to be an artist, I changed my surroundings. So I have been subjected to a lot of different
Type of
spaces,
people.
a lot of different women,
Just say.
So it's like at the end of the day, it's just like, my mother always used a term, I use it over and over again, you gotta be equally yoked. So a lot of times when I am dating, I do sometimes have dated outside my race or moved outside my race, which is still, interesting to me because I didn't meet anyone outside my race until I was a full-grown adult. I met my first white people when I was like 21, like 20-something years old. When I started actually meeting white people.
Did he say dating?
dating.
Who's
That's
talking about dating?
No,
I said,
no,
is you
no,
out
no,
there?
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
you
no,
right.
no.
Look, that's media training.
No.
Hey.
You see how I did that?
No, we date everyone. He loves all.
We had to cut it because he got a little bit too lit. He was in my ass trying to get me to spill some beans. But
Hey, the beans ain't gotta be spilled. Just spread them a little
all
bit.
I'm gonna say, like I said, all I'm gonna say before we had to cut, because it got a little hectic, was, being an artist has put me in different rooms. So like I've dated outside my race. I've, messed with women in different spaces. And I encourage everybody, like, definitely being in a small city like Baltimore, Smaltimore, we all end up dating the same people and moving. And
Keep saying dating. I'm gonna let you ride with it though.
I like dating. What's
fucking? We be fucking the same bitches. He can't say that. I'ma say it. But I don't even want y'all. I try to go to the county. I figure out who's fucking the county bitches too. Like, I'm like, like, man, y'all done fucking bitches too. Like,
when I was younger, I was very promiscuous. When I had
when
a daughter.
When
I was younger, when I had my daughter, I started to chill a little bit.
Right.
Just a little bit. I ain't chill a lot. But I'm chilling now, because now I understand.
He had the braids before he grown back.
They don't know when I had the dreads, I had the braids, my hair was long. I had them back in the day. I'm washed up now. But what I realized, like, what I do realize now is like, now that I'm chilling, messing with multiple women and it take a lot of energy. It take a lot of time. It take a lot of money. It take, and then I always tell people, fuck. I'm telling you, you don't realize it. It's like,
I can see the time, but
energy
you
and
gotta talk to the broke bitches neither though. Like,
it's not even about being broke.
They put some shit up.
Right, a woman can have money, but I feel like just exposing yourself to multiple women take a lot of energy.
Thank you.
And it take away from time I could actually be working on my craft.
I can say that now that I'm older. When I was younger, man, I used to say a different time.
I didn't either, but I wish that I had if I would, that's one thing I would tell my younger self. Cause the crazy part is, like, I had some good ones. Like my first love, I was gonna shout out, hey Courtney. Look, I was in love with this girl. I was in love with this girl. This is my first love. We were super young. She was solid. One of the first girls I knew, around, from around the way, like that, had a driver's license. Everything she said she was gonna do, she would do. She said, I want to work for a Red Cross. She went and did that. She did everything she wanted to say she wanted to do. I wasn't just man enough to step up. I didn't have the mentality. I wasn't mature enough for anything. That's my, like, as far as like any woman, she's one of my regrets. Like, cause I was like, now it's like, I had to unfollow on the gram, cause I be jealous. I be seeing her with our little hubby and her 2 kids, and they be taking little family trips.
Look at him keeping it 100.
Look, I was like, that should have been me, but I fumbled it back. When you get a real, she wasn't the last real one. I had a couple real ones that I ran across, and it just like, where my mom was at, I just wasn't there, But I had some solid
I can relate. I can definitely relate.
But I definitely, I fumbled a bag. I'm talking about
like jail niggas right now.
I ain't talking about jail niggas. Don't do that. Right. We've said this plenty of times on our episode. No, we're not talking about women who locked up though. I'm not talking about nobody that's locked up.
You really be fucking with a lot of
No, I only had one person. Don't listen to him, yo.
No, let me find out you holding packs.
No, not anymore. Listen.
Let them jail niggas. What you gonna say?
No, I was going back to like fumbling bags, like when you're not mentally ready. We spoke about this on another episode, and he tried to pull my card. Like, you had a lot of good prospects, and you.
Oh yeah, you be having lots of niggas.
She drafted the wrong one. She drafted the wrong one.
Man, yo.
But because I was not.
Kwame Brown.
Yeah.
No disrespect. I don't want to problem with Kwame.
I love Kwame Brown, but I'm just saying.
You gotta relax. Chill on. He said it.
He tight. He be everybody.
Yeah, don't get in my ass.
My bad.
I come out there.
Oh my God. Because he wasn't mentally. Back to my part. Mentally there.
You saying because he wasn't. When it's like 5 he's.
I'm talking to him, and I'm saying for me, I agree with him when he said mentally he was not there, and that was for me. It was more like a scarred type of thing. Not so much I was
immature. Last year though.
No, shut your mouth. No, it was not. It's more like
I named it.
You're not about to do that. Yeah, that's what you're not about to do. That's not what you're about to do.
We ain't gotta do it, but I can.
I know you can, but we ain't doing that. But again, I was emotionally and mentally unavailable to give somebody what they needed, but they were good people.
Yeah,
so I agree
yeah.
with you 100%. So it doesn't happen to men; it also happens to women.
Yeah, you can always spin the bin. You know, like I've spin the bin a couple times.
Yeah,
I don't think I
you
can
talking
spin the
to
bin.
shit. I spin. Shit, you seen me the other night. I ain't seen done 4
You
years.
turn.
I don't think I can spin the bin with this one.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta spin the bin, give it a second chance.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, next question. I can't. Not that one. Spinning.
Spinning the bin? Nothing wrong with that.
All right.
No,
So
it's
you
not
got
it.
any? With that sneaker collab that you did with Steph and Under Armour, do you have another venture coming out in the future? With
that you can speak on.
That I can speak on? You know, right now,
All the shit you can't speak on. It's anything goes.
nah, you know, I got a lot of stuff in the works. Like right now, like I'm real like going through stress because I'm working on a new book called No Justice, No Peace through Lit Legacy, which is going to be a collection of photographs from the time that I started shooting, you know, protests and the movement, you know, because in my mind, you know, I never consider myself like a Black Lives Matter, you know, part of that branch. I always just been about Baltimore and black people, you know. I just move inside my community and make my community better. But it's the work is just looking at, you know, from my photography when I first started shooting Mike Brown all the way up to George Floyd, with a collection, you know, of you know, photography and essays. You know, I got some big names. You know, I got, you know, people that won like Nobel Peace Prizes writing for the book. They gave me essays. Like I got, but then I still got the Conjuanas and the local people. You know, D. Watkins, the big names that mean something to me.
Right.
You know, but I still got people like Carmen from you know, who does a lot of work. She did the march for the Women's March in DC, that real big one.
Okay.
Carmen Perez. Like I got Kianga Hamada from Princeton. I got I'm trying to think of some other big names we got in there. Clint Smith. Like, you know, some big names.
I got a question. So even this going into your legacy book, did you think about any of the kids and their perspective or something that they would want to write about the injustice and things that's happened that they may have been really talented that could go in there? Did you think that? I mean, I know you're good for the community and kids, and I know these big names they dropping, and shout out to all y'all, holla at me when you see me. But as far as that, like, did you think about maybe a contest, maybe someone that could just, their writing just really stick out that could match, like, any picture, anything? I mean, I'm just saying, it's just
That's a dope idea. I was just a part of a kids book. Interesting things that kids should read, you know, and I put some photos in there. You know, I have essays that one day I'm going to do a whole retrospective with all the essays and stuff I can get from kids. So like a lot of kids that gotta work with me gotta write me essays before they even work with me. You know, so I got a whole bunch of stuff. That's something that I'm gonna work on later. But something that I have a couple things coming up for kids where I'm gonna be, where I haven't really announced it yet, but you know, I'm working with Leica, you know.
And you announce it for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I tweeted about it, but me and Leica are working on a new program. And if anybody know anything about Leica is like, when you think about Leica, I'm trying to think of a car. Like, you know, everybody got the Hondas and the Acuras in Baltimore, but just think about the Maserati or the Lambo or the Camry world. You know, you're talking about one of the very expensive, but some of the best craftsmanship in the camera world. And they've been lucky enough to make me a Leica ambassador and work with me, give me equipment so I can, you know, really invested in me. You know,
Right.
I literally, like, they put me in contact with some amazing people. I actually got a Leica talk. They gave me my own talk show, so I have a camera talk. Something else, you know, with Young Guru. You know, Young Guru is that's
This
Jay-Z.
nigga's mine. This is shit. Look at
That's
what you
Jay-Z.
throwing these Can I put that name up that you just dropped? Let me I'll put it on the table. Where you got it. Go ahead.
But Young Guru, you know, he's producer, you know, for Jay. You know, worked with a lot of amazing artists. But you know, he's an amazing photographer also. So we're gonna be doing a Leica talk where I interview him. It's called Beyond the Music. That's going to be on October the 10th. You know, where I'm going to interview him. You know, I was able to interview Photo Dre, who shot the cover for Queen of Slim, who's another amazing photographer based out of Brooklyn right now.
It looked good, but that was a terrible movie.
Oh my
man.
god.
Fuck
I
no.
liked it. I liked
If
it.
I'm on a fucking chase, I'm gonna stop and
liked
ride
it.
horses. Like, come on, that shit was unrealistic as shit.
That
yo.
could've
You wouldn't
happened.
do none of that shit
That
running from the
could've
police.
happened. I
Nigga, you'll be in
liked
somebody's
it.
basement, my nigga. Like,
I
come
liked
on,
it.
that shit was unrealistic
I
as
liked
shit.
the movie.
Oh, let's stop. Oh, those horses look beautiful. Oh, let's go to the club.
Okay, anyway.
I like the way that it was shot.
I liked it.
It looked
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
That's why I said it
The
looked
shot
good.
good.
But
The
the
shot
story
was
was
good.
unrealistic as fuck. Like, come on, yo.
I mean, go ahead.
I was,
I ain't like the end.
the whole that
Because
shit
of
was
the
phony,
whole
bro.
the trap
I was
mentality of a
so
snitch.
sad. I was so sad.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the movie to me. It was the most realistic part. Niggas not loyal, but all the other you stop in the club and
Yeah,
ride
but
horses.
I think it bothered me because of the mentality of, like, you know, the guy from the trap is a snitch, and it's that whole.
No, that's
It's a
real
solid-
life though.
Yeah, but
Niggas be ratting.
True, but like you meet the one trap out of all the trap dudes you could have ran into, you connected with a snitch.
But you said out of the one.
So the whole time you
Most
trying
of
to
these niggas
so
is
what I'm saying,
snitches.
so what I'm saying, but your peoples that's supposed to look out for you, that sent you to them.
That was the best part of the movie.
You
to
know, this nigga was.
That was the best
A
part.
person in his space,
All the rest of the shit that
you
happened.
knew he was. So
That was the most
he
realistic
had to
part.
know he was a snitch because
No, he didn't.
he had to know.
You got niggas working for the feds now that you don't know about.
True, I get that, but yo, the senior people that's on the run from the police and they had yo sell them off like that. Then when you send them to what was it in a bayou or something like something
Yeah.
crazy in a trailer.
That made it real more realistic. 'Cause
Right.
How you even getting all that area like that? Like you ain't
I
got
just
that much
feel- I
people to
feel
move
like-
that shit around like that.
Like me when I saw the movie, I predicted it. I was like, yo, why she going right on him?
I just knew they was gonna die.
But it just
that was a good part too.
yo, it's just
They
it's the ideology that I don't like, or the symbolism that I don't like. That the trap dude is the one that sold them out
True.
to the police. It was just like this whole thing.
But that normally what happens, so.
You know, but what's interesting, it was like both of those actors are like not African Americans. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
You know, I think about that often. You know,
Thanksgiving.
just I think about like all my peers. You know, the Cool Ants, the Terrys, the all the actors. You know, that were like acting like think about like bluffing ass niggas like.
Yeah.
Back in the day, if you remember bluffing ass niggas.
Bringing up bluffing ass niggas.
We not doing that.
No, no.
You was in bluffing ass niggas?
No, I wasn't in that.
I was,
but
yo,
I just
they
know
had
how
me
you
play.
got the
I'm in
gun.
bluffing ass niggas at like episode 8. I
What
played a Pakistani. I was selling cell phones. You know they selling, all the homies say you like Indian or Pakistani or something. So they had me. I was
Shout out to
selling
the
the
Rise
cell
episode
phone.
one.
You know, so shout out to Cleon. You know,
All
a
right.
pioneer of Baltimore.
Yeah, he's
You
supposed
know,
to came
but
on
I think
there,
about all these amazing,
because
all these amazing
some people
actors and, but all these amazing actors, African American actors, you know, that don't have jobs, that's like can't get a part of the acting union. I just question a lot of times where a lot of people that have the pedestal, that have the gatekeepers, that have that power, why they're not doing harder work to find that gem. I was lucky enough that people didn't have to find me. I just was cast out. And it was like, oh, it's a gem out there, and it's like they just like an infinity stone, some Thanos shit. Oh, it's a gem right here. And then now I got a platform. But I just think about my peers that I try to like leverage and push, and all the talent we have that come out of Baltimore.
Keep saying it.
And you got to think about the lineage. A lot of people don't know the history. Like you got to think about it. You got people like Sanford and Son. Red Fox, the first black person with a TV show that, he had a comedy club.
They from here?
No, he's from New York, but
Oh,
Sanford
wow.
and Son, Red Fox, the first black person to have a TV show, which was Sanford and Son. He had his own TV show. But he had a comedy club on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Hell no.
You trying to think about it, Big Holiday got a statue on the avenue.
Right.
And Pennsylvania Avenue was iconic. The Spinks Club, like the history of Baltimore. Nina Simone got a whole album called Baltimore. The history of Baltimore, when they talk about the Harlem Renaissance, you gotta mention Baltimore because the jazz musicians and the artists were already moving through. So the things that we doing now have been done before. We just have a bigger
That was one of
platform.
the reasons why I was trying to reach out to some of our,
A lot of elders.
our elders, but some of the people that made Baltimore what it was today to come on the podcast to tell about the history, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was,
You know,
that was one of the reasons.
yo, like
I was
you
going
gotta
for
think
that,
about
so
how many
speak
people we
about it.
lost. Yeah, you gotta think about Miss Tony, the K Swifts. Like, those people are iconic. You know, like yo, I said, you know, like I did a shoot for ID magazine. You know, and I had like Black Star in there, and Black Star real humble. He be trying to sell me weed cookies and shit. And, and I'm like, yo, you Black Star. Like as a kid, Rider Girl. Oh my God, how many house parties I got twerked on the Rider Girl. You know, oh yeah, my homeboy got hold me up. Like, come on. Paradox.
Hey, they don't know what that means.
about that.
I'm going back, son. I'm going back.
Hey.
I'm a motherfucking chair right now. You know what I mean? I'm a chair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, so going from that, I don't want my question seem inappropriate. But it's like
It's the butt for butt. Like,
when you're in these different situations with these different people, and you might be in a situation where as though some people know who you are and others don't, and they be like talking to you in a way you feel as though, yo, I would really smack the shit out you right now, though. I know you done felt that way, but people don't know you. How do you deal with that?
Yo, it's really hard, like, because of my thing is like, yo, like my hand broke right now, you can hear it cracking. Like,
yeah, I hear
this one, my hand broke from knocking somebody on a paradox, and I shattered both my knuckles.
Man, I see your another couple. The boxer fracture.
Yeah, the boxer fracture. You know, I had hands back in the day. You know, yo, it's really hard because like I've been in disrespectful spaces where like, people talk down.
Because you're not a disrespectful nigga though. You come across, you feel me? Cool, you always cool, yo.
Yeah, you know, and I tell
you about 8 times.
Yeah, I know.
Yo, and it's nothing. Yo, the crazy, they can't even set my joint back. Like, yo, you ever had a girl try to hold your hand and be like, what's wrong with your hand? Like, oh, nah, you know, they be like, hey, don't touch me with that. I'm like the man on Scary Movie. Let me touch you with my little hand, a little bit.
Be popping and shit,
Right.
you know what I mean?
For real. She be like, use that rose. I'm like, I can't use that. It's left hand.
Shout out to the Rose.
Hey.
But yo, so my thing is like, yo, I really, one thing I learned from my OGs is how to really check people. And the thing is like, I learned from OGs, I watched like OGs how to check somebody that like, you know, like a certain dude, I know some killers, I know some solid dudes. And I watch how they move, like even just growing up. I know some dudes like, yo, I can be down like Maceo's, like in the trenches. I don't watch like some of my OGs like, yo, come on, yo, you doing too much. Like, chill out. You feel me? But the dude can see your posture, your eyes, you know, like, yo, chill out.
Wipe that face, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, yo, look, yo, like, I don't want a problem telling you to chill. Like, you know, you can see, I can't even think about the word, but I'm gonna remember the word when I leave, I'm gonna be so mad. But it's like a person resolve. You can see a person resolve and what they ready to. So a lot of times, you know, when I try to, I got a Napoleon complex. Cause I'm short. So like, dang, you ain't get it out. Look, I think I'm average West Baltimore height. Like I think average West Baltimore height. I'm like 5'8", 5'9".
That's the average West Baltimore height.
You know,
that's a fact.
You know, you get like the little
Napoleon.
But I always little joints like, yo, like if I feel like my resolve is just like, yo, I gotta swing first. Like if I feel something,
definitely gotta take it all the time.
So all the time, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, he always sneaking people." I'm not sneaking people, but if you come with that hostility, I'm gonna match the energy. So my thing is like, yo, if you ever feel like, yo, this dude really want to go, so I'm a go. You know, but moving them to space, I've been disrespected a lot of times. Like even just moving into an artist, being a black artist, moving into a higher ecosystem, working with, you know, being in a white space. Sometimes it's like, yo,
woo, it's hard, honey.
It is. Yeah, it's like even I'm talking about. I've been in spaces where, you know, I've been racial slurs have been thrown. I've been in a lot of different spaces. So my resolve and my patience has to be really, really high. Right. Because at the end of the day, if I pop off, if I act crazy, if I do anything, I'm the one that's going to be recorded. I'm the one that's going to look crazy. I'm going to be the one that, you know, that's systematic. What's the term? A black brute. You know, something that was created back in slavery times, 400-something years ago. They're gonna stamp me with that. They say, "Oh, look at this black man wilding out." Even though it's justified, but at the end of the day, you can, yo, like I love that. Yo, it's like a song, but it's like, yo, it's a term. You'll never see me sweat. So like, even in times where I feel like I'm being disrespected, disrespected or anything, I'm just gonna be like, you got it, champ. You know,
right? Because at this point in your
you're
life,
not gonna see me sweat. I'm gonna be my resolve. I'm gonna be real chill.
if you fuck
don't
up,
know
you
how to
got
take
a whole list of people underneath of you in situations where they look as though you done in a breadwinner.
Yo, and
even now, if y'all got shit y'all got going on together, one fuck up.
And that's what I read. That's what I realized talking to a lot of like a lot of OGs or talking to a lot of people. What I realized is like, yo, like if you touch me, you know, and if you touch me and do anything to me, you don't have to worry about me. You know, like if a police officer beat me up tomorrow, you gotta realize the backlash that you're gonna get from my community and from Baltimore, because I have so much love, the admiration, the respect. Is just it's golden. One thing about Baltimore, we are crabs in the barrel. When they show love, we show love, and it's unmatched. The only energy I've ever seen match Baltimore was Oakland and Chicago and Detroit. Other than that, I've never seen. Philly got a lot of love too.
Yeah.
But when it came to like Oakland, like in like Chicago when I was there, definitely in Oakland, like the energy and the love, you know, is just different. It's rare. Baltimore has a very special energy.
Yeah, because we don't normally fuck with a motherfucker, but when we do, boy,
We
we
fuck
do.
with
You get me
Look
to
at
come up
yo,
my shit,
who we
man.
love. Yo, look at your guy. Look at Boosie. You could have swear he was from Baltimore.
That's a fact.
Look, ESTG.
That's a fact.
That's my
that
favorite
nigga,
rapper
yo.
right now, yo.
Yeah,
When I seen him do the joint with Money Jake, I was like,
We
what?
trying to get you up here too, man.
ESTG, yo. Shorty, all his mixtape bang. I used to like all his mixtapes more than his album though. But
Yeah, it should be jumping.
ESTG.
I just want to say, like, for real, to be honest, thank you again. I mean, he wasn't lying, but again, I'm just very
that's
excited
my guy.
that, and I know that shit got. But people say they fuck with people all day long, like I said in the beginning.
He sent that text like, hey, this is the address. He sent that joint to make sure. He sent it this morning, so I had that reminder. So I was like, all right, bet, I got this amount of time to get ready, then I'm gonna slide out. You feel me? So I had to make sure, hey, this is my guy since we was young. I'm talking when I first moved to the county, yo, me and him used to catch a cheese bus together. And then the thing is, yo, I'm talking about you know when you see another hood, this is what I realized, when you see a dude from the hood in the county, you just know. So it's just like, yo, I would see like him, remember PJ, Shay, rest in peace, Shay. A lot of dudes, Future, Josh, a lot of those dudes.
Free Future, man.
I would see a lot of these dudes, and I was younger, so I was like, oh shit, like it's a whole bunch of other dudes out here, from Josh.
Yes, that's
rest in peace.
She ain't.
Light skin Josh?
No, bro. But I got
He was light skinned. Jeezy. Yes, he was from Park Heights.
Yeah, but
what are you talking about? He was light skinned to me. I knew exactly who that is. Don't play with me.
He browning in both of us.
No, he is not.
He's definitely brown like.
Oh, he like the men. Y'all light skinned to me.
Yeah, so like
What are you?
I'm light skinned.
Yo, like
Little
Lil Britney and everybody. So when I would see like people from the people that used to be in the hood, it was like, oh, like it was dope. So it was just like this was my guy since I was young. So it was just like when he asked me, I've been super busy, but it was like, all right, bet I'm freeing up. COVID slow down.
Yo, hit me back. I'm like, cool. It's
right? No. He hit me. I was like, all right, bet. 1:30. I got to shoot at 8. All right, bet. So I come through and show love. That's my biggest thing. It's like that's the thing that keep me moving. It's like with my peers, people that actually know me. Like everybody can show me love that know me at my top, but like people that I grew up with, I still hang with Hemi. I still hang with Ted, Lord Stewart, all those guys.
Stewart, that's my guy.
Yeah, all those guys still, I still, they show me love. So like the fact that I've changed so much, they know the real me, and they still show me love. So like Lord Tedrick, Lord Foxy. Yeah, Teddy doing good, man. He doing his house thing, all that, man. So it's like, yo,
that little nigga was wild.
Yeah, he a solid one. That's big little bro. So like,
but shit, is there anything else you want to get off before we close this out?
I want to thank y'all for having me on.
Thank you for
definitely
coming
check
on,
out.
bro.
I would say I'm a vouch for the podcast. This was like the funnest one I've been on. They offered me Hennessy in the beginning when I got here, so I was like, yo, I like that. A lot of people just like, oh, you want sparkling water? You want that? No, let me get Hennessy. It was all love. Yo, check the podcast out, follow up. Yo, if you're an artist, you definitely want to hop on this. As an artist, you get on these podcasts. Don't charge nothing. It helps your visibility.
Say that
you
part
know,
again, yo.
don't charge. It helps your visibility. But yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Devin Allen. Once again, BYDVNLN on all Twitter, Instagram, all that. Hit me up. I'm around. Westside certified all day.
Yeah. And on this note, it's been another episode of Anything Goes
Podcast.